how did the two of us meet? Why don't you tell a story?
Okay. The two of us met actually through mutual friends. The first time that I saw him, he came in and he was sitting at my station. I was food serving. I was a waitress. We like to call it a food server. And he came in and sat, and he had this Hawaiian shirt on because he's from Hawaii, and a big old afro, and I was like, who's this guy? Okay. And he was sitting with one of my good friends, so my good friend introduced us, and the rest is history.
One of our first dates, I picked her up from her house, and her dad was outside, like, giving me the eye, and I had my 82 Honda Civic, and I washed it that day, and I cleaned it all out, so it didn't smell like Cheetos and wetsuits. And then the funny thing is that I picked her up, it was all good, had my car cleaned, and then I put her in my passenger seat. I said, you know what, could you like hold the door? Because my door doesn't close all the way. So we drove from LA to like about 2 hours to Santa Monica with her holding the door. And then as we're pulling into like where we're gonna be eating or going to the movies or something.
We were so close.
Yeah, like my gas was like pretty good, but then it ran out of gas. And then I was like, and then could you like get out real quick and push? Did you push my car?
So I'm holding the door and I'm like, oh, now you want me to push? Oh, okay. Get out, push.
So she passed. So she was, she knew. Yeah. So that was pretty good. Well, we've been married for close to 12 years now, and the first 6 years of our marriage, we were single, meaning we didn't have kids.
Those are the days.
So those are the days. Those days went by fast.
We were so naive and blissful.
In the last 6 years, we have 3 children now.
Mm-hmm.
So to keep our marriage growing, here's what we do. We really intentionally put each other first, over our children, over my ministry, and over work or anything else, over her family for sure. Just kidding. But we put each other first, and that's really important for us.
Drew's really good at establishing boundaries between his job and his playtime surfing, basically. I've never once felt like anything else was more important than me. He's always made it really clear that I was his number one. And then once we had kids, that the kids came next, and then his ministry. And I really appreciate that because it's really rare. The more people that we come in contact with, that's not the case. And I feel like that has to come down from the man. Like a huge question is, how do you know if the person's the one? How do you know? And one piece of advice that I like to give is, can you trust the guy with your purity? And there's so many things that can look good in a guy that you're dating, but if you cannot trust the guy with your purity, which is the number one thing that would be the hardest for a guy to keep in a relationship, if you can't trust him with that, then how do you know that you're going to be able to trust him, that he's not going to change, that those good qualities aren't gonna fade away? If you can trust him though with your purity, then everything else falls into place. Then you know that he is a man of character and he does have lots of integrity, right?
Yes. So the advice that we have for young people as they date is keep both eyes open when you date. So the person's not going to change too much when they get married. So you really want to make sure that they're a whole person and they love Jesus and they actually have friends and a job and are driven. Because if they don't, then they're not going to change too much. But when you do get married, you got to keep one eye closed because there's some nuances and little things like making rice, for instance. You know, I mean, that make rice the way you want to make rice. So you got to keep your eye closed and just say, "It's perfect, honey. I love it. It's great." You know, but you got to pick and choose. But keep both eyes open and then one eye closed.